We have a wife appliance that is malfunctioning. We have a wife appliance that is malfunctioning. Sound the alarm. She said, I quiet quit being a servant and now I'm not being loving. The wife appliance is malfunctioning. She says, a few months ago, I finally realized that I'm acting like a servant to my husband. It had gotten to the point where he didn't even put his toothbrush back in the toothbrush holder. I did it when I brushed my teeth. He would literally stand in front of a cupboard and ask me what was inside of it. He would come home from work and stand in the kitchen and ask me if he had any clean shorts. Wouldn't even look in the wardrobe first. And I would fetch it for him. My breaking point came when the puppy would poop or pee on the floor and he would throw a towel over it and leave it there until I came home from work because I'm better with that stuff. Anytime I speak to him about how little he does, he would steamroll me and throw a tantrum. So I quiet quit. Yes. She says, I stopped moving his toothbrush. If he asks where something is, I say, I'm not sure. He leaves his underwear and dirty socks on the bedroom floor. I no longer pick them up. Today he said, oh, are you trying to teach me a lesson? Huh? He then said, all of my underwear is on the floor. You haven't picked it up. I can feel my blood boiling just typing that. I told him I'm not his maid, that he can pick it up. He said, but you pick up after everyone else. Effing what? The kids? I clean up after my children? I stood and stared at him open mouthed. My son said, yes, but I'm a kid. You're an adult. My husband said, but you should still care about me and do things for me. It shows your love. I told him that he was an adult. He then said, that's like me telling you to garden. Bro mows. He mows the lawn maybe 6 times a year. So do I. Then I decided to quiet quit the conversation. Stick around while I quiet quit the whole effing marriage. I love this, and you guys needed this too. Miss Sherwood says, I love your son backing you up. No Hope says, oh, Bromo, I am filled with rage on your behalf. Wow, what an entitled a-hole. Divorce will be so much better than living like this. Mador, whatever, says, disgusting. Love your son for that. Makes me think of that. If I am, so are you, Mom. If you leaving his messes shows lack of love, where does that put him? Has he ever picked up your clothes once in a whole marriage? Elliot says, I can be your wife or I can be your mommy, but there are certain things mothers and sons don't do together. 3 Jane says, I may or may not have used the phrase, I can't be your mommy and your wife because mommies are biologically disinclined to F their own offspring. Albiner says, if you ask him, in the words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? What is his response? Because he sure as hell isn't doing things for you. It sounds like he thinks that you're his mother. Move Along says, good for you for quitting on his BS. Sleeping Clown says, now, I wonder how unloved he'll feel when you stop doing his laundry and putting it away. Raven Stormbless says, do not ever go back to do for him. If he's going to tell everybody you don't show him love, you can tell people he is referring to you not treating him as a toddler, but as an adult by refusing to pick up his underwear and put it in the hamper. Be very specific. And Clutter Kitty says, I am filled with hot rage on your behalf. The audacity to say that out loud to your face and not hear how ridiculous it sounds. Ugh. Yes. And I think that's enough. Everybody seemed to be very, very supportive of her. I'm supportive of her because these wife appliances need to malfunction because these people need to learn how to properly adult. We have got to recognize that we are more than servants. We really are. We're more than just picking stuff up after people, being incubators and being ex-toys. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So I think I've already made it clear how I feel about age gap relationships. And this post is no different. I'm side-eyeing it from the first sentence. She says, how do you cope with the inevitability of aging being seen as less desirable? Listen to this first sentence. I'm in an age gap relationship and he's already looking at younger women. Side eye right there. So she's 29, he's 41. Once again, she's 29, he's 41. She says, my partner and I are in an open relationship. More red flags. In an open relationship, which is already tough enough to navigate, but I'm feeling grossed out by him over some comments he makes about women. He's had other partners with a 20-year difference between them, which I already thought was creepy. Yesterday, he told me, listen to this, about how tiny some 4 feet something tall, 90-pound girl who had to have been at least 18 because of her tattoos was flirting with him at the dog park. Ew, gross. He thought she was hot. He was talking about all of the young college students he's noticing around. He likes the taboo of age gap relationships. I was especially bothered by the comments about how little she was. I'm only 29 and feel like I'm already seen as less desirable. It's hurtful until I remember that I don't want to be desired by someone with such icky taste anyway. Why don't you leave the relationship? Why are you talking about this instead of figuring out or saying that you are leaving him? She says, I know this is a problem in society in general, but how do I learn to cope with the unrealistic expectation to stay small and young forever? You don't. You get over that. You're not going to stay small. You're not going to stay young. Just get over that. Stop looking for that kind of validation. Stop buying into that because it's impossible. And that's how they keep us consistently buying things and searching for the fountain of youth and all of that. You just have to leave that alone. Get it out of your brain. Go to therapy. But you're going to get older. You're going to sag a little in places. You're going to change. It's just life. Don't be afraid or ashamed to live another year, another day. Just don't. And inevitably, we're all going to get older. Direct Drawing says, this isn't an aging problem. This is being with an a-hole problem. Johnny says, you cope with it by not dating creeps like this. Date someone who's excited to grow old with you. Beauty is such a small and variable thing in life. All in My Mind says, I was thinking of how to write this in a very demure way, but you caught the essence of what I wanted to say. Lily Marie says, girl, there's a galaxy between your post title and your actual post. Your 41-year-old partner is attracted to teenagers. That's the problem you have, not aging, a normal process. A large something says, but then she writes shit like this. I was especially bothered by the comments about how little she was. I'm only 29 and already feel like I'm seen as less desirable. Taiji says, your partner is creepy. Sorry. You are in the prime of your life at 29 and no way past it. Don't waste good years of your life with this dud. Pyramid International says, I'm in an age gap relationship and he's already looking at younger women. And then they said, sorry to break it to you. He never liked you. He just liked the taboo. Start liking yourself enough to leave this douche. Correct Sprinkle says, ditch the nasty man for a start. And then they hone in on, it's hurtful until I remember I don't want to be desired by someone with such icky taste anyway. And then says, dealing with it is basically this. Opt out. Don't spend time with people who subscribe to these ideas. Then we get this one. Yeah, being in an open relationship is not a good enough reason for him to provoke your insecurities like this or to be a creep. Opal says, why are you staying with the man you think is gross? Good question. Just a Jiggy Giraffe says, I, for one, look forward to entering my crone phase, but maybe start with dishing his foul butt. He almost certainly will eventually trade you in for a newer model and then trade her in ad nauseum. That's on him for being a gross creep, not you. But you know what they say about employers who pay minimum wage and folks who date minimum age. They would go lower if they could. I've never heard that, but yeah, that's funny. You say you don't want to be desired by someone with icky taste anyway, so why be hung up about this guy? And that we are going to end it. I hope this woman ends it, but there were so many red flags and the post was so little. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And also, don't forget, aging is natural. We're going to get older. Just deal with it. Get with it. We're going to get older. Be happy that you're living another day, another year. All right, y'all. Like, comment, share. This woman posted in the Ask Women Over 30. She just titled this, All Trumped Up. She says, I met my husband 22 years ago. We were both pretty liberal. I was an aging punk who favored the Green Party. He was sort of libertarian, but mostly lean left. We are in our mid-50s now and have 2 kids in high school. We have built a comfortable life together, but we both have stressful jobs. I just deal with it. But over the years, my husband has become increasingly angry, bitter, and depressed by the demands his job puts on him. He started listening to far right podcasts and watching conservative YouTube videos all night, every night. I think it just makes him feel better to have somewhere to direct his anger. Unfortunately, now it's starting to bubble over onto me. We got our ballots in the mail last week. I hid mine, voted, and dropped it off at the ballot box while he was at work. Last night, in front of our oldest daughter, he demanded to know who I voted for. So I told him. He got really angry and started yelling, repeating all of the things he hears on those podcasts every day. And I left the room mid rant and washed the dishes. I fight with him not too often, usually about how I work full time and also do all of the household chores, maintenance, bills, childcare, etc. I wonder if I'm deluded to stick around. He can be kind, funny, and smart, but I feel like I don't see a lot of that guy I married anymore. He has turned into a Trump rage machine. Should I bail? Wait and hope it gets better? Wait until the kids graduate in 3 years? I make more than enough to support me and my kids. I do love him so much, though. This Trump situation, there's two different things going on in here. There is the wife appliance that is tired of being the servant, so the wife appliance is malfunctioning. And this whole Trump situation is making people's families disintegrate. These people are wild. Oh, actually, three things. Listening to podcasts. What is it about these men that spiral? They spiral a lot more after they start listening to podcasts. What is wrong with these people? Why are they so susceptible to podcasts and YouTube videos? Like, it is really making a lot of them go the way of a cult. And it's crazy that this very grown man is so susceptible. It's crazy. But like I said, it's three things. The wife appliance no longer wants to be a servant. She got a Trump person that's gone crazy, and he's got caught up with the podcast bros. Yes, you should bail. There's nothing good that's going to come out of this. This person says you have to vote in secret. That is insane and not normal. And hide her ballot from him too. WTF. Segway Fair says, OP, would you want your child to stay in a marriage like yours? Old Lady Millennial says, I think this is a good guiding answer for you. Imagine in the future one of your kids' marriages was in a similar scenario. What advice would you give your child? Be honest. I'd lean towards doing that. Theodore Carl Shrub says, this is a great point. Also, speaking of the kids, this comes from a sample size of one, so grain of salt and all of that. But one of my friends I met in college was the youngest child in her family. And when she left for college, her parents initiated the divorce they'd wanted for years. Starting college was already a huge life change to adjust to. And then having her parents divorce on top of that was a lot to handle. She went away thinking she'd be coming home for breaks, and then suddenly no one was home. That, on top of the fact that she had to grapple with the idea that her family life had largely been a ruse, she didn't even know how long, and that was a lot to deal with as well. Yeah, it would totally suck to find out that your life was a whole made up fairy tale. I really wish parents would stop this whole sting for the children thing. And then BP says, yep, that was me. I had some lovely relationships, but that prompted me to be sure to never marry and never have kids because it would trap me. Same for my two siblings, for what it's worth. Dang. A lot of parents think that they're doing the right thing and a two-parent household is the best. But now this woman doesn't want to get married or have kids ever because of the relationship of her parents. Then Theodore says, damn, I'm sorry you went through that. City Elk says, you're showing your kids what marriage is. What they grew up with will be their normal. Is this what you want for them in the future? Black Lotus says, that right there was the best response. Yeah, leave. There's no staying with this. There's no salvaging these people once they get Trump brain. All trumped up means it's time to head out. Sorry, it's over. Trump has caused so many people to lose finances, family, and their freedom. And, I don't know what to say about it. They're not salvageable. Leave them. All right, y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.